As we look to the scriptures for passages that deal with trusting God, the Psalms are filled with examples of how God is trustworthy and faithful. Good morning, I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Tuesday. You know, the psalmist made it a priority to call upon the Lord and to see him as his faithful fortress where he could hide from the enemy. In Psalm 18 and verse 2, he says, "The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength in whom I will trust, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." And he says, "I will call upon him." When David calls the Lord his rock, I'm reminded of those families that place a large stone in the front yard with their name on it. That's not going to be moved anytime soon, or at least easily. This aptly describes what God is with his immovable firmness, which implies his unchanging faithfulness that we can depend on when we place our trust in him. He also describes God as my fortress and my deliverer, which tells us where we should run in the face of troubles or when the enemy is pursuing us. You know, when one is out in the open, they're very vulnerable to dangers. But knowing that God is that fortress where we can hide and he's our deliverer from all kinds of dangers. I like the fact that he simply says, he is my God. You know, we often miss the fact that God is this all-knowing, all-powerful force that is on our side, especially when we place our trust in him. He goes on to say, he is my strength in whom I will trust. Isn't it great when we know where we can turn for strength when we feel weak and helpless? You know, as humans, we often feel those weaknesses and fears, and we need God's strength in order to hold us up. He also calls God his buckler. Now, a buckler was actually just a small shield that a soldier would carry into battle. He could carry it in his hand, but normally it was strapped to his left arm where he could hold it up quickly and fend off some arrow or some spear. In Paul's description of the full armor of God in Ephesians 6, he says, "Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked." That is what the big buckler was all about and what it was used for in the midst of battle. And I'm thankful that God is that kind of shield. Often, I believe, shielding us from fiery darts of the wicked that we didn't even see coming in our Christian lives. And he calls God the horn of my salvation. You know, when I think of those animals that protect themselves with horns, I'm seriously going to keep my distance, you know. When God attacks our enemy, you can be assured he has his horns out. He is ready to defend us. And he says, God is my high tower. Certainly, if we're seeking refuge from the enemy, a high tower would make us feel safer, or even look up to that high tower for some strength and protection. So today, whatever we face, let's make God our rock. Let's make sure that he is our fortress where we hide, that he is the buckler and shield that fends away all those fiery darts, and that we make him our high tower where we run when needed.